To fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. If the mind is willing, the flesh could go on and on without many things. The line between disorder and order lies in logistics. He who relies on chance must prepare to fail. Do not attack the enemy's stronghold, strike where he is unprepared. Weapons are tools of ill omen, to be used only when there is no choice. He wins his battles by making no mistakes. By reinforcing every weak point, the enemy weakens himself. Do not depend on the enemy not attacking. Depend on your own readiness to receive him. Disorder arises from order. Cowardice arises from courage. Weakness arises from strength. The whole secret of war lies in confusing the enemy so that he cannot fathom our real intent. If you know the enemy's plans, you will be secure against attack. If the enemy believes he is secure, surprise him. Appear to be weak so that he may grow arrogant. All great warriors use deception as a tool of war. A skilled commander manipulates the enemy's expectations and emotions. When the enemy is expecting you to go left, go right. Lure the enemy with gains, then crush him with deception. A leader must control the battlefield with his mind before his troops set foot on it. Feign foolishness, but remain ever watchful. He who understands how to harness his troops wins the battle before it begins. The general who does not win the trust of his soldiers will see defeat before battle starts. A good commander does not seek to rule with force, but with wisdom. Commanders must create an atmosphere where soldiers fight willingly, without fear. A leader must know when to be stern and when to be lenient. When rewards are clear, soldiers will fight bravely. A general should be respected more for his wisdom than his might. A true leader is one who can balance caution with courage. A disciplined army is unstoppable. An undisciplined army is doomed. No army can succeed without the loyalty of its men. A general must be like water, able to adapt to every terrain. Control your enemy's supply lines, and you control the war. A good warrior will never allow himself to be boxed in. To engage an enemy, one must first study his strengths and weaknesses. When retreat is necessary, do it in such a way that the enemy fears to pursue. To move swiftly is to strike first. Fortifications are only as strong as the will of those inside them. Let the terrain fight for you. An army that does not move together will fall apart in the face of battle. The best weapon in war is knowledge of the enemy's mind. The fear of battle is often greater than the battle itself. He who angers easily can be defeated easily. Control the enemy's morale, and you control his fate. Do not let emotions cloud your judgment in battle. If the enemy doubts his own strength, he is already half defeated. Fear is the greatest weapon in war, second only to deception. A battle is won or lost before the first arrow is loosed. Morale is as important as the number of troops on the field. A disheartened army will always lose, regardless of numbers. Victory belongs to those who remain unshaken in the face of adversity. A rigid plan in war is doomed to failure. Be like the wind, able to change direction at will. Only a fool fights the same battle twice in the same way. When the battle does not go as planned, adapt or perish. A commander who refuses to change his plans when needed will lose everything. The strength of a warrior is in his ability to adapt. Victory belongs to those who see the changing tides first. He who does not adjust to new strategies will perish. War is not about brute force, but about mastering uncertainty. The best army is not the strongest, but the one that adapts best to challenges. Victory is decided before the battle even begins. There is no shame in retreat when it leads to victory. Do not seek battle if victory is uncertain. A battle avoided is better than a battle lost. The only true victory is the one that secures peace. Defeat is often the first step to learning the art of war. One must know how to lose before they can truly win. Victory does not belong to the strongest, but to the most strategic. Sometimes, surrendering one battle is the path to winning the war. A true warrior learns more from defeat than from victory. War is not merely about killing, it is about outthinking the enemy. A great warrior knows when not to fight. The wise do not seek war, but they are always prepared for it. A kingdom without war may fall to its own corruption. The measure of a warrior is not in how many battles he has fought, but in how many he has avoided. The art of war is also the art of diplomacy. Sometimes words win battles that swords cannot. There is wisdom in choosing not to fight at all. War must be waged only as a last resort. The true warrior fights not for glory, but for necessity. The best victories are won without shedding blood. A warrior without knowledge is a danger to himself and his men. Do not start a war unless you are certain of its necessity. The mind is the greatest weapon of all. A fool fights with his sword. A wise man fights with his mind. A silent army is more dangerous than a loud one. Those who rush into battle rarely emerge victorious. He who acts rashly in war ensures his own defeat. A warrior must learn patience before he learns battle. The key to victory is not in overwhelming power, but in perfect timing. The strongest warrior is the one who controls himself. Every battle teaches a lesson, even in defeat. War is not about destruction, it is about control. The greatest generals are those whose names are never known. He who fights with rage fights blind. To stand still is to invite defeat. Even the strongest fortress can fall from within. A wise general knows when to listen to his advisors. Do not let victory make you arrogant. The greatest enemy is not outside, but within. He who knows himself and knows his enemy need not fear 100 battles. A well-prepared army does not fear the unexpected. A battle is won before it begins if your preparations are sound. The best generals do not seek war, but they do not fear it either. To win any war, understand the nature of the battlefield. Victory in battle is not about who has more soldiers, but who has the better plan. A country cannot be strong if its people are divided by greed and ambition. The art of war is to gain advantage and hold it. Strike the enemy at their weakest point, but prepare for retaliation. Destroy the enemy's will to fight, and you need not destroy their army. To hold ground without cause is to waste resources. A warrior must train his mind as well as his body. Divide your enemy's forces, and you divide his strength. A true warrior wins through intelligence, not just strength. Every battle is different. Fight accordingly. Control the battlefield, and you control the war. A commander who hesitates in battle is already defeated. An enemy who doubts his own strength is already half defeated. A well-timed lie can win a war before the first arrow is fired. Pretend to be weak, so the enemy overcommits. If the enemy believes you are strong, he will avoid battle. Hide your true intentions and reveal them only when victory is certain. To mislead the enemy is to lead yourself to victory. Confuse the enemy, and he will defeat himself. An enemy who does not understand your tactics is one who cannot defeat you. Make the enemy see ghosts where there are none. The strongest weapon in war is fear properly directed. A general who listens to wise counsel will not lead his army to ruin. If you do not command respect, you will not be respected. A general must balance discipline with compassion. True leadership is about guiding, not ruling. An army is only as strong as its leader. A wise general does not waste lives unnecessarily. Soldiers follow a leader who inspires them, not one who frightens them. A great leader does not seek war, but prepares for it. A general must know when to push his men and when to pull them back. The morale of an army is the foundation of its strength. Victory is not in never failing, but in never being caught unprepared. A commander who does not learn from his mistakes is doomed to repeat them. Victory is won by those who seize opportunities, not those who wait for them. Defeat is often the result of arrogance. One must never assume victory is guaranteed until the enemy is truly vanquished. Do not celebrate victory too soon, for the enemy may still have strength left. There is no shame in retreat if it leads to ultimate victory. To truly conquer an enemy, conquer his will to resist. The seeds of defeat are often sown in overconfidence. A battle lost is only a lesson if you learn from it. A wise general prepares for war in times of peace. The best defense is to be always prepared for attack. Train your men before they fight, and they will fight as they have trained. An army that lacks discipline is no army at all. A soldier's body must be strong, but his mind must be stronger. Weapons alone do not win wars, strategy does. War is won long before the first battle is fought. If you lack provisions, you will lack strength. The best armies do not fight unless absolutely necessary. A prepared warrior does not fear battle, for he has already won in his mind. Adapt to the situation or be broken by it. No plan survives contact with the enemy unchanged. Rigid thinking leads to defeat. A warrior's strength lies in his ability to adapt. A wise commander does not fight the same battle twice. One must be fluid, like water, shaping to the battlefield. The enemy who does not change will be the first to fall. Those who cling to old methods will be undone by new tactics. Victory belongs to the most adaptable force. Learn from the past, but do not be shackled by it. A nation that wages war recklessly invites its own destruction. Peace is the ultimate goal of all war. A wise ruler builds strength but seeks peace. No empire can stand forever if built only on war. The art of war is also the art of governance. The strongest warrior is the one who knows when to walk away. To win without fighting is the mark of true mastery. A strong nation is one that does not need to constantly prove its strength. No war is truly won if peace is not secured. A kingdom divided will fall whether in war or peace. Victory must be tempered with wisdom, lest it turn into folly. True power lies in restraint, not aggression. A great warrior does not seek battle, but does not fear it either. To understand war is to understand human nature. No army is stronger than the will of its people. A wise ruler does not waste lives for glory. Strength is measured not in might, but in wisdom. Foolish rulers fight for ego. Wise rulers fight for necessity. War is chaos. A wise general brings order to it. The best way to conquer is to make your enemies allies. A ruler who ignores his people's suffering will soon lose his kingdom. The greatest victories are those that do not require battle. Control over oneself is the first step to controlling the battlefield. A wise general makes his own opportunities rather than waiting for them. An army without discipline is like a sword without a handle, dangerous to all, including itself. Strategy is the art of using limited resources to achieve unlimited potential. A general must think many moves ahead, like a master of chess. He who fears losing has already lost. War is not won by numbers alone, but by the mind that commands them. A strong nation is not one that constantly wages war, but one that is prepared to defend itself. The measure of a general is not in how he starts a war, but in how he ends it. To understand war is to understand patience. A good leader inspires loyalty, a bad one demands it. Loyalty cannot be bought. It must be earned. An army fights best when it fights for something greater than itself. To rule with fear is to invite rebellion. A weak ruler fears his people. A strong one earns their respect. Even the most powerful kingdom can fall from within. A kingdom built on deceit will not stand for long. If you break the enemy's spirit, you do not need to break his body. A leader who values wisdom will never lack for good counsel. The wise warrior does not celebrate destruction. True power lies not in destruction, but in control. An enemy who is confused is already half defeated. A single misstep can undo 100 victories. Fortune favors the prepared mind. A wise ruler does not seek war, but does not ignore its lessons. Do not waste time fighting battles that do not need to be fought. The best victories are those that do not cost blood. A ruler who does not listen to his people will soon have no one left to rule. A kingdom is only as strong as the unity of its people. A true warrior understands that war is the last resort, not the first. The best generals avoid unnecessary battles. A wise general sees opportunities where others see obstacles. The clever general makes his enemy fight on unfavorable terms. A general who hesitates loses his advantage. A battle avoided is often a battle won. The enemy's weakness is often hidden behind his apparent strength. Knowing when to retreat is as important as knowing when to advance. A well-prepared army never needs to fight. Fear is the most potent weapon in any battle. The strongest defense is a swift and unpredictable offense. A wise ruler does not start a war he cannot win. A true warrior does not seek unnecessary conflict. The mind is sharper than any sword. Deception is the heart of strategy. A leader who underestimates his enemy invites defeat. An enemy who believes he is winning is most vulnerable. The moment of greatest danger is when victory seems assured. The battlefield is not won by numbers, but by tactics. The strongest walls cannot protect a divided army. A wise general wins through wisdom, not bloodshed. Victory is not determined by who has the biggest army, but by who has the best strategy. He who controls the battlefield controls the war. To appear weak when strong, and strong when weak, is the essence of war. Strike when your enemy is unprepared, retreat when he is expecting you. Fools rush into battle, the wise wait for the perfect moment. War is not won in a single stroke, but by many small victories. True warriors fight for peace, not for glory. The best strategy is the one your enemy does not expect. He who rules through wisdom rules the longest. Never reveal your full strength until the moment of victory. A single misjudgment can turn victory into defeat. The wise warrior studies both his enemy and himself. An army that does not adapt will not survive. The key to success in war is flexibility. The wise general turns obstacles into opportunities. Every enemy has a weakness. Find it and exploit it. Control the enemy's perception, and you control the war. To lead is to serve, not to command. A wise leader surrounds himself with advisors wiser than himself. He who speaks too much in war reveals too much. An enemy's arrogance is often his downfall. A true leader knows when to fight and when to negotiate. In war, speed is often the key to victory. He who divides his forces weakens them. The strongest army can be defeated by internal strife. A strong leader unites, a weak leader divides. A weak enemy, when cornered, fights more fiercely. Leave your enemy a way out, or he will fight to the death. A wise general strikes when the enemy is unbalanced. If you control the enemy's supply lines, you control the war. The best fortresses are built in the minds of men. An enemy who believes he has nothing to lose is dangerous. Strike quickly, but retreat even faster when needed. An army that hesitates is already defeated. The best way to defeat an enemy is to make him believe he has already lost. Control your anger, for anger clouds judgment. War is won not by strength, but by superior intelligence. An army is strongest when its people believe in its cause. A wise ruler listens more than he speaks. Patience in war leads to victory. Even the smallest mistake can cost an empire. A strong nation values wisdom as much as strength. A wise general does not boast of his victories. Victory belongs to the patient and the prepared. War is fought in the mind before it is fought on the battlefield. A commander must be feared by his enemies and respected by his soldiers. An army without discipline will crumble before the battle begins. The enemy who does not understand, you cannot anticipate your moves. Victory is achieved by those who wait for the right moment to strike. The wise warrior lets his enemy make the first mistake. A general who cannot adapt to change is doomed to fail. A leader who does not prepare for war in peacetime will be unprepared when war arrives. To win without fighting is the ultimate victory. An enemy divided is an enemy already defeated. A battle won through deception is as valid as one won through strength. War is not won by force alone, but by strategy and cunning. A patient warrior lets his enemy destroy himself. A wise general knows that every war has a price. Rushing into battle is the quickest way to lose. A great leader commands not through fear, but through loyalty. One victory does not ensure success in the next battle. The battlefield rewards patience and punishes recklessness. A nation that constantly seeks war will eventually destroy itself. A leader's true strength lies in the ability to inspire. Control the battlefield, and you control the war's outcome. A wise leader does not let pride dictate his decisions. The best generals never act out of anger. An army is strongest when it moves as one. Fortune favors those who plan for all possibilities. A wise leader studies history to avoid repeating its mistakes. Fear is a weapon that must be wielded carefully. A weak leader blames his soldiers. A strong leader improves them. Do not chase a retreating enemy too far, lest you walk into a trap. Victory is not always about who strikes first, but who strikes best. A warrior who underestimates his opponent fights blind. A general's job is to prepare his soldiers to win, not just to fight. The greatest wars are fought within the mind. A great leader does not need to prove his strength through constant battle. Never let an enemy dictate the terms of war. To defeat an enemy, you must first understand what he values most. An army without trust in its leader is an army already lost. The best strategy is often the one that requires the least force. A foolish commander hopes for luck. A wise commander creates it. Even the strongest fortress can be taken by deception. An army marches on its stomach. Supply lines determine the victor. A wise leader never allows his enemy to know his true strength. Do not fight battles you cannot afford to lose. The most dangerous enemy is one with nothing to lose. The best generals turn the enemy's strengths into weaknesses. Strike at the enemy's weakness, not at his strength. A general who fights without understanding his opponent invites disaster. Even the most well-trained soldiers are useless without good leadership. A battle is not won by courage alone, but by preparation. A wise general never wastes resources on unnecessary fights. If an enemy believes he is secure, he is already vulnerable. Victory is the result of superior preparation and execution. The most dangerous mistake in war is to assume victory is guaranteed. The best generals are those whose battles are never fought. The strength of an army is determined by its discipline, not its size. A wise general finds opportunity in chaos. The greatest warriors do not rush into battle, but let battle come to them. Every great victory is built on patience and careful planning. A good leader does not demand loyalty, he earns it. The best battle plan is the one your enemy never sees coming. Strike like lightning, but be as steady as the mountain. He who plans for every possibility will never be surprised. Never engage in a fight where you have nothing to gain. The key to survival in war is knowing when to retreat. A leader who lacks vision will never lead his people to victory. True warriors fight only when there is no other choice. The best defense is to be so strong that no one dares attack. A leader who controls his emotions controls the battlefield. Victory is not in taking land, but in breaking the enemy's will to resist. An enemy in chaos is an enemy already defeated. If you wait long enough, your enemy will make a mistake. Do not seek war, but always be prepared for it. The best way to destroy an enemy is to make him your friend. A wise general is patient, but never idle. The battle is not always won by the strongest, but by the smartest. A general who does not change his tactics will eventually be defeated. An army's true power lies in its unity. A kingdom built on war will not last, but a kingdom prepared for war will endure. A general who allows arrogance to cloud his judgment is already doomed. The battlefield is won in the mind before the battle even begins. To fight with intelligence is to fight with certainty. A leader's true strength is not in his sword, but in his wisdom. Even the smallest advantage can turn the tide of war. An army that moves together fights together. The wise warrior knows when to strike and when to wait. A kingdom that fights too many wars will soon collapse. A wise ruler prepares for war in times of peace. The best way to avoid defeat is to never fight unnecessary battles. An army that underestimates its enemy invites destruction. Strength without strategy is like a blade without a handle. The best generals are those who achieve victory with the least bloodshed. Do not let small victories make you reckless. To control the battlefield, first control the enemy's expectations. A weak army with a strong leader is stronger than a strong army with a weak leader. The best way to defend is to never be vulnerable. Victory belongs to those who prepare for every possible outcome. The enemy's overconfidence is his greatest weakness. A wise general never lets his emotions dictate his strategy. The best warriors never stop learning. War is won by those who think ahead, not those who act first.